I accidentally found a letter my dad wrote to a woman who wasn't my mom from 1998. It started with a box. Yeah, a box. The most generic, dusty, cardboard box you could imagine. My parents, bless them, are hoarders. Not like hoarders, buried alive hoarders, but definitely we might need this rusty nail from 1987 hoarders. Their garage is a testament to a lifetime of just in case. And I, their dutiful, slightly exasperated only child, was tasked with helping them finally declutter before they moved into that cute little bungalow they'd been eyeing. If you've ever been through something like this, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. And if this story resonated with you at all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. So it was a Saturday, maybe mid-August. Hot, humid. One of those days where the air just hangs heavy and you feel like you're sucking in soup. I was sweating in my old ratty college t-shirt, hauling out broken Christmas decorations, ruined gardening tools, and a truly terrifying collection of old VHS tapes. Mom was inside making iced tea and probably supervising from a safe, air-conditioned remove. Dad was, well, doing whatever it is that dad does. He was supervising me, which involved a lot of leaning on the workbench, telling stories about how he used to fix everything with a paperclip and a prayer, and occasionally pointing at something and saying, "Oh, that's crucial. Don't toss that." My dad, Henry, he's been my rock always. You know? The kind of father who taught me how to change a tire, how to throw a spiral, how to fight. He has this great big laugh that fills a room, and eyes that crinkle at the corners when he smiles, which is often. He's a big man, a little rough around the edges, but with a heart of gold. And my mom, Zara, she's the quiet strength, the steady hand. They've been married for forever. Seriously. Since they were practically children. Their love was always this beautiful, unwavering thing in my mind. The kind of love you read about in books, or see in those old black and white movies. They just fit. They finished each other's sentences, knew what the other was thinking with one glance. They were the norm, the goal, the reason I still believed in true love. So there I was, waist deep in dust and nostalgia, when I pulled out this box from under a pile of old camping gear. It was smaller than the others, in the back, almost hidden. No label. Just plain brown cardboard. "What's in here, Dad?" I grunted, pulling it out. He glanced over, then did this weird thing. He kind of froze for a sec. Only for a split second. Like a deer in headlights, but subtle. Then he cleared his throat. "Oh, probably some old papers. My tax stuff from a while back. Just toss it, sweetie. Or recycle it. Whatever." He waved a dismissive hand, but his eyes, they kept drifting back to the box. That's when the little alarm bell sounded. Not a big, flaming one, just a little almost silent ding. Because my dad, he never says just throw it away about anything. Much less old papers or tax stuff. He's the one who keeps every receipt from 1992. So his quick dismissal, that little hesitation, it seemed off. Naturally, being the curious creature that I am, I did not discard it. I set it aside. Said I'd take a look at it later, just to make sure there wasn't something truly important, like a deed to a secret island or winning lottery tickets. You know, just in case. Later that evening, after a shower that was like a baptism, washing away layers of garage grime, I finally sat down with the box. Mom and Dad were in the living room watching some documentary or another, as they did every night. I put my feet up on the coffee table in my room, got a glass of water, and started to dig in. It was all pretty much old papers. Bank statements from the late 90s, utility bills, a few old, faded photographs of my dad with an impossibly young face, and a dubious mustache. Nothing exciting. I was about to close it up, vindicating Dad's just throw it away theory, when my fingers brushed against something else. Something that was all the way at the very bottom, beneath a stack of old phone bills. It was an envelope. Thick, creamy, no address or a stamp. Just a name, in elegant cursive script. For Amelia. Amelia. I caught my breath. Amelia? Who was Amelia? I did not know any Amelia. None of Mom's friends were named Amelia. No family members. My brain rushed to match name and face. Nothing. Then I looked at the handwriting on the envelope. It was my dad's. But different. More careful. Almost. Gentle. Not his usual scrawl. My heart started racing. A shiver crept into my bones, replacing the lingering heat of the day. I pulled the letter out. It wasn't sealed. It was folded, just waiting. The paper was thick, expensive, and the date etched at the top right-hand corner, in the same careful hand, October 17th, 1998. I was 7. My parents had been married for almost 15 years by then. I opened it slowly, my hands trembling. The words on the page wavered for a moment, then sprang into focus, stark and brutal. My dearest Amelia, I'm writing this because I don't know what else to do. Every day since you've been gone, it's like a part of me has gone with you. The house is empty, even with Zara and my name here. It's a hollow ache, a constant whisper of what might have been. I know I made my choice. I know I said no to you. But God, Amelia, it rips me apart inside. I wake up every night, remembering your face, your laugh. Do you recall that weekend in Vermont? The fall of the leaves, that little diner with the ideal pancakes? It's a lifetime ago, and yesterday at the same time. I miss you. I miss us. I miss how you made me feel alive, truly seen. Zara, she's a good woman. A wonderful mother. I love her, of course I do. But it's not the same flame, the same connection we had. It never was. I wish things had been different. I wish I had been stronger, braver. Know this, wherever you are, a piece of my heart will always belong to you. Always. Yours, Henry. The world reeled. The air escaped my body in a whoosh. My dad. My rock. My hero. He wrote this. To another woman. In 1998. When I was 7 years old. When my mom was right there. Zara, she's a good woman. Good mother. I love her, I do, of course I do. But it's not the same fire, the same spark we had. It never was. Those words, they weren't so much a knife to my heart as they were a wrecking ball to the foundation of my childhood. My parents' perfect love story? A lie. A carefully constructed facade. All those years, all those glances, all those finished sentences, were they pretending? Did my mom know? Did she know her husband was sitting around writing love letters to another woman, wishing he was with her? My vision blurred, not from tears yet, but from sheer, unadulterated shock. It was like someone had ripped a curtain away, and the stage I'd lived on my whole life was suddenly revealed to be a flimsy set, painted to look real. I felt tainted, like I was cradling something holy and unholy, something that wasn't mine, yet it had shattered my world. The letter weighed a ton, burning my hands. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hurl it across the room. I wanted to unread it, to rewind 5 minutes ago, when Amelia was a stranger's name, and my parents were still the epitome of marital bliss. My hands were shaking so much I had to put the letter in my lap. I stared at the words, rereading them again and again, as if they would change, as if they would suddenly prove to be a joke, a scene from a play, anything except what they were. But they did not change. They simply lay there, accusing, condemning. The quiet of my bedroom was deafening. I could discern the gentle drone of the TV in the living room, my dad's low chuckle, my mom's higher-pitched one. And it sounded grotesque. A performance. Were they laughing at something they'd hidden from me? From each other? A wave of nausea washed over me. I raced to the bathroom, barely making it to the toilet before I dry-heaved. There was nothing in my stomach, just bitter bile. My throat burned. My eyes stung. I splashed cold water on my face, staring at my reflection. My face was pale, my eyes large and bloodshot. I stared at a stranger. This could not be happening. Not to my family. Not to my dad. I went back to my bedroom. The letter still spread out on my bed like a snake I couldn't shake. I picked it up again, my fingers tracing the elegant cursive of Amelia's name. Who was she? A woman he worked with? An old flame? Did she know he was married? Did she care? And my mom. Oh, my mom. The thought of her, oblivious, or worse, cognizant and enduring it, tightened my stomach. My silent, tough mom. Had she gone through it? Then not the same fire part? Had she seen the void? I spent the remainder of the night in a haze. I did not sleep. Every time I shut my eyes, I saw my dad's face, then the words of the letter, superimposed upon his smiling eyes. I saw my mom, her kind hands, her trusting eyes. And the conflict was unacceptable. I awoke the following morning, and I felt like I hadn't slept in a week. My head ached. My eyes were gritty. I went downstairs, and my parents were already up, making coffee. The smell of freshly brewed coffee, so comforting at any other time, was now unfamiliar. "Good morning, sleepyhead," Dad said, his voice warm, his usual booming self. He did not look at me differently. He did not seem to carry the burden of a 26-year-old secret. He just existed. My mom smiled. "Coffee's ready, sweetie. You look a bit tired. Long night of decluttering." I forced a smile. A weak, false one. Yeah, something like that. I poured a cup, my hand shaking, spilling coffee over the rim. I watched them. My dad, teasing my mom about something trivial. My mom, swatting at his arm playfully. Their usual back and forth. Their usual cadence. And all I could envision was Amelia's ghost, standing between them, silently bearing witness to a life my dad had very nearly chosen. It was like looking at a painting you've admired your whole life, only to find out it's a forgery. The colors are still vibrant, the strokes still masterful, but the truth beneath it changes everything. I couldn't bring myself to face him. Not yet. How do you even initiate that discussion? Hey, Dad, discovered this ancient love letter you penned to your mistress in '98. Care to discuss? The words were absurd, gargantuan, too big to fit in our cozy kitchen. So I did. I observed them. Really observed them. Every interaction. Every glance. Every touch. And what I saw, it wasn't what the letter described. It wasn't an empty shell. They still had a connection. Maybe it wasn't a flame anymore, but it was a warm, deep-seated warmth. A comfortable, well-worn love that had withstood the test of decades. Could it have been a moment? A weakness? A crisis he'd survived? People change, don't they? Relationships change. But the bare pain in his words, a piece of my heart will always belong to you. Always. That had not sounded like a moment. The worst was the aloneness of it. I couldn't tell my mom. I couldn't ruin her world like mine had been ruined. And I certainly couldn't tell my dad. So I held it in. This thick, heavy secret. It sat in my chest, a cold clot, making every family dinner, every casual conversation, feel like an act I was now performing. I caught myself thinking about my own life, my own relationships. How well do we ever know the ones we love? How many secrets do we all keep, locked in cobweb-covered boxes in the distant corners of our minds? It brought everything into question. Trust. Loyalty. The very nature of love itself. I was a zombie for weeks. Distracted. Preoccupied. My friends noticed. You okay, Liv? They'd ask. You seem off. I'd shrug, mutter something about stress at work. How could I even begin to explain? How could I articulate the feeling of having your entire basic understanding of love and family pulled out from beneath you by one faded letter? And then one evening, I was swinging on my porch, staring at the stars, and it hit me. Not a revelation, but a gradual, quiet understanding. The letter had been dated 1998. It was 2024. 26 years had passed. 26 years of my parents' togetherness. Of my dad's presence. Of his existence as the dad I knew, the husband my mom loved. Whatever went down with Amelia, he remained. He selected us. Possibly a moment of immense weakness. Possibly a sincere, excruciating inner turmoil. But he made a decision. And he committed to it. For more than 20 years. It didn't erase the pain of the letter. It didn't make the words less devastating. But it complicated matters. It made me understand that love is not always a straightforward thing. It's messy. It's complicated. It's about choices made, and choices regretted, and choices remade. It's about forgiveness, not just of others, but of yourself. I still don't know if my mom knows. I never will, probably. And I've made up my mind. I'm not going to ask. That letter was a personal moment, a naked admission of a man struggling with something deeply personal. It wasn't meant for me. Reading it was a mistake. And even though it broke my heart, it also, oddly, opened my eyes. My father is no longer my hero. He is a flawed, complex human being who made a choice and lived with it. And in a strange way, that makes him even more human, more relatable. It makes their love story not perfect, but something far more important, resilient. The box itself doesn't exist anymore. I recycled it as Dad suggested. But I didn't discard the letter. It's kept in my own box of meaningful papers, a reminder that life and love aren't normally quite so simple as they seem. And that sometimes the most painful realities can also be the most enlightening.